everyone, and welcome back to Identity Insights by Indicio. I'm your host, Tim Spring, and today I'm joined by Director of Indicio Solutions, Kent Iverson. And he's here to discuss using verifiable credentials to secure financial transactions. Thanks again for joining me today, Kent. Would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Tim, for inviting me to join you on Identity Insights. And I became a part of the Indicio team about 6 months ago. It's been like a total blast working with the team, getting the authentic digital relationship products and verifiable credentials out there and being adopted across a bunch of sectors, including travel and finance. It's just really cool to be a part of as everything's accelerating and going forward at this time. And as for me personally, I've been involved in marketing and product management for over 30 years for a diverse range of international companies. And I'm American, but I've moved and lived all over a number of places, and I currently reside in Vienna, Austria.
Sounds good. Right, coming from all that experience, do you know what are financial institutions currently doing for their security practices?
That's been very interesting to learn coming from outside of the industry largely, although I have been working in other types of software and whatnot. But to see how risky some of the ways of authenticating users and the know your customer aspect can be. And I think that a lot of what is currently being done for legal compliance, which is KYC, the know your customer aspect, that legal requirement, it's very slow, it's cumbersome for everybody. There's a lot of repetition within an organization. So given bank X has to often do the same processes again and again through the organization, which is cumbersome and expensive. And of course, as things become more risky in terms of higher amounts of money being involved, the expense goes up because they want even more security and verification and authentication as to who can do what. So that's been very interesting to learn, to see how it goes right now, how these things are done. And as these identity documents are shared internally within an organization, as an example, it happens scores of times. It's very slow. And there's a security risk each time. Let's just say it's your passport or scanning your passport. And it's just being shared with whomever within an organization. You don't know that as an end user, what credentials are being shared. You don't know the things about the other invasive aspects, which I've always found bizarre over the decades, such as what is your maiden name or your mother's maiden name or some other aspect of your life that who has the right to know this and why, but it's in there and it gets shared around. And all of this can get hacked, obviously, and leaked, and then you're exposed and you can never use the answer to that question again, but you only have one maiden name for your mother. So that one gets thrown out. So there's a lot of cumbersome, really antiquated methods of going about doing this. And also on a personal note, who isn't entirely sick of juggling passwords and trying to recover account access? Takes forever. You have to remember, oh, what variant of whatever am I trying to remember, or kind of self-defeating your security by making an Excel sheet with all of your data in it, which if compromised, yeah, you just ruined your life. So I think looking at how things have been going and what Indicio is delivering is pretty amazing stuff.
All right. Yeah, I can definitely see some issues with some of those solutions. So how do verifiable credentials really change that? And what can they do to transform the financial interactions that we're doing?
Well, chiefly, we verifiable credentials in the way that Indicio is delivering it, because there are variants of it out there. And the way in which we're providing it, and that is actually deployed right now, is the authentication and authorization for a transaction are near instant. Let's have a theoretical here, wherein if a bank is saying, hey, did you actually want to provide access to your loan data to financial institution X or whomever, they can literally call you, and with your quote unquote wallet, your phone, you can just say, yes, that's me, with your biometric data, and approve. They go, okay, this is this person. We just double check, and it's like that. And there's no sharing of anything personal. It's all done as a bonus as well within compliance of GDPR rules. So that's another really strong positive benefit of the way in which we're doing it. And it gets rid of all of the other weak points in terms of fraud, such as your data being passed around. It can just be you authorize something, you're allowing it or not. It's done strictly point to point, you, the bank, and of course, how everything is encrypted on the blockchain.
Okay. So you said the way Indicio is doing it. Could you talk a little bit about the other ways that it could be done potentially?
The way that we do it is in a decentralized manner, and it's all open source. So I think those are two things to be aware of when looking at alternate solutions that are available. And there is a method that is being used currently that is what they call tokenized. And that means it is using something like, I'm just going to say this as an example. Let's say you're using, we'll use FTX. There's a perfect one. You are tokenized and you're using FTX's system. Well, there's a fee involved with every transaction. So it's more costly. Whereas the Indicio system with Proven is not done in that way at all, where there are transaction fees for just verifying something. So there are costs associated with it to both the institution and to the individual in some way. And of course, if you have a large institution like FTX that goes under, well, the whole thing shuts down. It's just lost the whole concept of it. And then as we found out, obviously things aren't exactly on the up and up and completely secure, 100% trustworthy in that type of system. So with our open source and completely, truly decentralized way of doing this on the blockchain, those security and cost risks are not there at all. There's not baked into the system.
Very cool. So you mentioned it, you touched on this a little bit in, your initial answer of how they're doing it currently,
Mhm.
but what would the end user impact be? How would I, really be able to see the effects of this new system?
I think a lot of it comes down to, for the end user, is ease of use and security. There's really no chance of data breach once it's written to the blockchain. It's all completely encrypted. And the ease of use is literally as simple as biometric data. You can use your thumbprint to access something with for verification. So it's fast, it's near instant. If your bank has a need to get a hold of you about something, they can do it by pushing it through messaging through our Holder app, as an example, and they can send you a completely encrypted message that's completely contained within the app, and you can authorize something. It's just so fast and easy. No need to call anyone. No need for long waiting times for either approval, authentication, transferring of anything. It's just happens at the speed of however fast you can connect and transmit the data and read and write to the blockchain. So I think the simplicity, the ease, the speed is there.
All right. So what have we learned from early adopters of the systems?
I'd say in the case of the early adopters, there's two general things. One is very specific examples, which I'll give at the end, but the other one is overall within the organization, things are streamlined. They don't have to pass a bunch of files around, and in terms of authentication and authorization within the company, things work much more quickly. It's very easy to do and very fast. And in terms of time saving, also involving the end users as well, to loop them in on this, customer satisfaction, is we had one of our clients report that their average customer service call time for support was 2.5 minutes. And after implementation, it's dropped down to one, which is an amazing cost savings. But also, that includes customers who just don't have to call in at all because they're not experiencing whatever the problem might be. I can't log in, I can't do whatever it is because it's just working for them. So I would say those are the two key points we've had: is ease of use and customer satisfaction.
All right. Sounds good. So it sounds like it's already out there, right? This is ready. What advice would you have for
Mhm.
a bank that's looking to adopt these verifiable credential solutions?
It's already out there. I would say the most obvious thing is to contact our Vice President of Business Development, Mr. James Schulte. He can be reached. Probably you can put it into the description field below or on our website. You can schedule an appointment with him, and he can either answer any organization-specific questions you might have, because not every organization is the same, and he can even set up a demo and walk you through how it works so you can see it. And the other thing is that you can actually issue and verify your own credentials on our website today. You can log in right now to indicio.tech and go through the procedure and do it.
All right. Very cool. So, right, we're coming to the end of our time here, but I'm just curious, where do you see this technology going next?
I think we are on the cusp of a very big, let's just call it a sea change. in the financial sector specifically in this conversation, in that especially in Europe, where I now currently reside, open banking is becoming more widely adopted, and they are taking advantage of being able to offer, because they're faster moving and a bunch of other different things, but they're bringing in more revenue streams by offering a wider and more diverse range of products. You can log into any of these companies' websites and see what they're doing. And the nice thing is, with a system like Proven for finance, you can offer a wide variety of product and revenue streams, and even such things as authenticating or authorizing on behalf of another institution. So if your system is set up, you're bank X, and then there's an insurance company who your customer wants to deal with, you can actually earn a transaction fee by saying, yes, we can verify for you that this person exists and they're really who they are. And there are people taking advantage of these new revenue streams. I won't enumerate all of them. They're pretty easy to find out by looking at open banking companies. I think now is the time for more traditional, quote unquote, brick and mortar style banks to get in line and start moving towards what the open banking systems and institutions are offering. It's a time to start moving into that, and we are getting those contacts right now.
All right, awesome. No, that's sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah.
It looks like that is about our time for today. So thank you all so much for watching. If you're interested in learning more about verifiable credential technology, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll continue to bring you some more educational content. If you have any questions or specific topics that you'd love for us to cover, please leave a comment below. We'll be sure to read them and get back to you. And thank you again to you, Kent. If people want to learn a bit more about verifiable credentials or Proven in general, where would you suggest they look?
Well, first stop is obviously indicio.tech. Go on our website and schedule and play around with the issuer and verifier, as mentioned before, and talk to Mr. James Schulte, our Vice President of Business Development, and talk to him about what your needs are as an institution, and he'll take care of you.